What's going on, guys, and welcome to Anteiku Nation, where we game and we know things. And today I want to take a look at the new ride lines revealed for Booster Set 2, A Brush with Legends, and talk about the return of Dragonic Overlord and Phantom Blaster Dragon. But before we begin, guys, please hit that like button if you like this video, smash that subscribe button, and click the bell so that you can be notified each and every time that I upload a brand new video. Alright, so here we are. We are now looking at A Brush with Legends, guys, and we're going to be talking about today, like I said, Dragonic Overlord's ride line, as well as Phantom Blaster Dragon's ride line. And this was met with mixed reviews in the community. Some people were like, oh my god, I can't believe they're actually, bringing back legacy support this soon. Other people were like, hey, this is like kind of cool. I can actually play some of my favorite units, whether you're a fan of Kagero with Dragonic Overlord or, Shadow Paladin with Phantom Blaster Dragon. It's just it was a lot of speculation, as are these units going to be like OP? Will they be just as powerful as they were before, if not better? How is this going to play out? And actually, I gotta say, the Bushiroad did a really fine job of keeping the power balance with these units in check, as to not overshadow the overdress units. So let's just go ahead and get into this real quick, guys. Let me click on this. Boop, and there we go. So looking at the ride line for Dragon Empire, we do have our main grade 3 with Dragonic Overlord, we have grade 2 with Nehalem, grade 1 with Bar, and our grade 0 with Lizard Soldier Undu, who we saw from the original trial deck for Kagero back in the first season of Vanguard. They did revisit Berserk Dragon and Gojo, so it's really cool to see some iconic units coming back with some retrained skills to fit the overdress meta. And the artwork is actually really spicy. I'm really a huge fan of the artwork and how they chose to do these cards. And yeah, so next up we have Keter Sanctuary's Shadow Paladin ride line with Phantom Blaster Dragon, Blaster Dark, of course, Blaster Javelin, and Full Bow, as well as they decided to bring back Kieran and Maka, or Macha, however you decide to say that. I always call her Maka. I'm not sure which one's right, but either or. The artwork, again, is just like spot on. This is super juicy artwork. It really calls back to the original art for the season 1 units, and I'm a huge fan of that. Yeah, so looking up, first off, guys, we do have Lizard Soldier Undu, which is just your typical starter. Nothing really to talk about here. It's just when this unit is rode upon, if you went second, you draw a card. Typical stuff, right? So next up, we've got our grade 1 Bar, because you look at Undu and you're like, oh my god, where is Conroe? Nani? Where's Conroe, baby? Like, why didn't you do Conroe? Why did you choose Undu? Here's why. So Bar, when this unit is rode upon by Dragon Knight Nehalem, you may cost Counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 grade 1 card, reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle your deck. So they took Conroe and they put it in Bar, and I mean, you couldn't have really chose a better ability to give Bar other than the Conroe skill, especially for the ride line. Like, it just does what it does, and it's beautiful. So yeah, go ahead and grab that PG and go on about your business, and everything is right with the world. He also has another skill of Rear Guard. Once per turn, when your Vanguard attack hits, this unit gets plus 5,000. This would be kind of relevant if you did decide to run multiple copies of Bar because of how Dragonic Overlord works, but we'll get into that shortly. Next up, we have our grade 2 Dragon Knight Nehalem. So when this unit is rode upon by a unit with Overlord in its card name, call this card to the rear guard. That's pretty cool. Once per turn, if you have a Vanguard with Overlord in its card name, you may Soul Blast this unit, and all of your Vanguards get power plus 5,000. So this is pretty cool, as he becomes a 15k beat stick on turn 3, as well as he's pumping up Overlord, and he's doing the dirty thing. So not bad at all. But now let's look at Dragonic Overlord himself. So during the battle of this unit attacked a rear guard, your opponent cannot call cards from their hands at the Guardian Circle. And once per turn, when this unit attack hits, you may cost Counterblast 1 and discard a card from your hand to stand this unit, and it gets drive check -1. So at least they give him the drive checks, even if he does -1, but that just calls back to old school Dragonic Overlord, where it was the same thing. It was just a heavily costed ability, because you would actually Counterblast 3 to have to restand him. But they went a little bit better, where they gave him the guard restrict, so now he is guaranteed that he is going to be smacking a rear guard in the face and killing it so that he can always get the restand ability off, and for such a cheap cost of a CB1, discard 1, restand. So you're getting 3 drive checks off of this thing. With Nahalem in the rear guard, he's pumping this thing up, and you're just doing all kinds of stuff, which also calls back to Bar, because Bar says that when your Vanguard attack hits, this unit gets power plus 5,000. So when Dragonic Overlord smacks that rear guard, Bar's going to be going up by 5k. Then you got Nahalem sitting up by plus 5k. Then therefore you've got like a beefy column to swing with, all after you swung with Overlord, because Overlord's going to be, you know, hitting them drive checks, and so if you hit those triggers, you want to go ahead and apply pressure to the Nahalem column, so that was funny, Nahalem column, so that you know, you can just keep putting that pressure down and either strip cards and resources from them, or either you're just going to be making them take that sweet damage. So this card is balanced, it is fair, it is not it's not OP in the sense of what we saw before in Cardfight Vanguard G with the legend decks, where it was just, oh, stride units, triple drive checks, all this crazy power, retire, restand, and do the things that the deck was doing. Because if this would have gotten some kind of crazy ability, it would have taken away from Nirvana / Varina for the overdress stuff, and that I would not have been a fan of. Like, you really need to let your new units shine. They need to be powerful. They need to be more powerful than any encounter legacy support that you're trying to dish out, and they did a very good job of that. And I'm actually very pleased with not only the artwork but the skills of these units and the synergy that they gave them, but to keep it balance, to keep that power balance in check, and I'm a huge fan of that. Let's keep going, guys, with now Keter Sanctuary's Phantom Blaster Dragon ride line. So in this, guys, we've got Full Bow, who's looking pretty dope as always, chilling with the shades. When this unit is rode upon, if you went second, you draw a card. Nothing really to say there. You know what it is, you know what it does. We see it all the time. So next up, we've got our boy Blaster Javelin. So when this unit is rode upon by Blaster Dark, you may reveal the top card of your deck, call it to a rear guard as rest if it is a unit card. If it is a unit card, and you discard it if it isn't. So basically, I wish they would have reworded that a little bit differently and just say if it's a unit card, call it. If it's an order, discard it. Because I mean, basically that's what it's saying. If it's a unit, or if it's an order card, you're discarding it. Okay, you don't get to call it. I wish they would just worded that differently, but I digress. Also, rear guard circle. During your turn, if you have a Vanguard with Blaster in its card name, which you should, this unit gets power plus 2k. So he's always going to be a 10k booster or attacker. And I'm actually a fan of cards like this because I rather have the and or part of the fact that, like, okay, either he's going to be a booster or he could be a beat stick, because that gives it more versatility, like a Swiss Army knife, and I'm a huge fan of that. This also nets you a free resource. It thins the deck out a little bit. Unfortunately, it is a top call, so that kind of hurts the potential to get something useful, but it's a free card, so free cards are free. Moving forward, we have our boy, the one, the only Blaster Dark. So he's still a grade 2. When this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle or Rear Guard Circle, cost counterblast 1 and retire another rear guard. You choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it, and this unit gets drive check +1. Now, this is a skill that we saw in Cardfight Vanguard V, where we got the twin drive, where we got that extra drive check. And that, you know, it's the early on drive check because we don't get twin drive with grade 2s, but he was the exception to the rule. And also, for a cheap cost of CB1 retire something, you get to pop one of their units. Thankfully, it's anything that you want to pop, and you get that twin drive. So that's pretty dope, and I'm a huge fan of that. Also, during your turn on the rear guard, if your rear guard was retired this turn, this unit gets power plus 5,000. So basically, I think you could do like a rush turn 2 with this thing, in a sense where you can kind of maybe just fill your board and you can get some Blaster Darks out there, and then maybe like you retire something and it gets plus 5,000. But there's also other times, I'm going to be going over that, where this can kick off not only on turn 2 but on turn 3. When we look at our big boy himself, Phantom Blaster Dragon. So, skill. When this unit is placed on the Vanguard Circle, you choose a card with Blaster in its card name from your soul, and you may call it to a rear guard. So therefore, boom, we get him back on the rear guard, and 2 skills are about to intertwine. So once per turn, you may counterblast 1, retire 3 rear guards, choose up to 2 of your opponent's rear guards, retire them, and this unit gets power plus 10k and a crit. that is beautiful. That is still balanced. This just calls back to OG Phantom Blaster Dragon while giving it a little bit of spice to it, a little bit of spice, because we do get the Persona Ride ability. So like if you ride a copy of this over top itself, then you get the plus 10k to the entire front row, while also being able to still do its initial skill of being able to retire, you know, rear guards of your own CV1. And then you get to destroy some of their field while also giving lots and lots of pressure with that 10k and that crit. And then you're also powering up Blaster Dark. So then Blaster Dark's, you know, something got retired, so he's going up by 5. You got the front row maybe on that Persona Ride going up by 10. So now he's a plus 15. He's at 25k beat stick. And that's beautiful, because then maybe you build a column. Maybe you got a Blaster Javelin still back there. So now that's going to be a 35k column between Blaster Dark and Blaster Javelin in the process of being able to do, you know, Phantom Blaster Dragon skill, and all these things are going off, and there's just so much synergy between these ride line units, and I'm a huge fan of that. But at the same time, this does not overshadow Bastion. This does not take away from the overdress units, and I'm a huge fan of that. Like, this was not the absurd power that we saw from the Ren Legend deck way back when Cardfight Vanguard G came out, and you know, the Phantom Blaster Stride unit was sitting there with like absurd amount of crit. Like, it got the crit and it got the power, but then like I think it could PG deny you or some sense, and it got triple drive. So it was all of these like empowering, encompassing things that were just like, oh my god, this thing's just straight up death with legs. This just calls back to OG Phantom Blaster Dragon while keeping it in check. It gives you a little bit of spice to keep it relevant in this new meta with these new units, but it does not take away from Bastion, because in my opinion, Apex Ruler Bastion is still going to be top dog even over this. Will this be a fun callback deck that you can play, have a little bit of fun with? Sure. Can you compete with it? Absolutely. I just don't think it's going to be as threatening as Apex Ruler Bastion. It is one of the top decks, if not the top deck to beat right now in the current format, and I just don't see this thing taking away from that, because Bastion gets so much more support going forward in this new set that's going to make it even more of a threat and a menace to the current meta. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of this. Again, I love the art, I love what they've done. I'm glad that they kept the checks and balances in place when it came to these ride lines, and there's not really much to say about it, guys. Like, I really am happy that they decided to give us some legacy support. I think it's really cool, as long as it was kept in check, which it was. We do not know currently, or at least I don't know, I haven't looked to see what Gojo or Berserk Dragon does. I don't know what the Maka or the Kirin does in these ride lines or these decks, so it's going to be interesting to see. I assume that like Berserk Dragon's going to be able to pop something for some kind of a cheap cost and maybe gain some power, just like he did in V. I think, in my opinion, that Gojo may also still be able to do some kind of drop draw ability like he's always been kind of known for. I would like to think that Maka is going to be able to superior call something, probably again for a super cheap cost. Maybe she'll even gain some power, and probably like the Kirin over there will probably be like, you know, maybe he gains some power or does something interesting. I just don't think it's going to be anything you know, overpowered, but I think it's just going to complement the deck even more so than what it already is, and I'm a huge fan of that, and I can't wait to see what people do with these decks and how well they actually, you know, stand up in the current meta when set 2 rolls around. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, guys. This is all I really had time for today. It's all I really wanted to talk about when it came to these new ride lines. I just want to touch on a little bit and throw my opinion out there. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you would, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Also, hit that subscribe button. It helps me help you to keep making more content for Cardfight Vanguard and Cardfight Vanguard Zero. And as always, guys, please stay strong, stay healthy, and happy gaming.